Rolling, 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 rolling,
Thought it was probably the most serious one of those guys that we've ever watched. Before we get into this, did y'all have fun last week? Was last week not?
Yeah.
It was a whole lot of fun. I can't tell you how many people have talked about this. We've got a special treat for you at the end because we're going to show you a picture of this cow and somebody. So anyway, it's pretty neat. It's awesome. So it's going to be a special treat for you. So we'll look forward to that at the very end. And he's already turned red. And it's all good. Last week was kind of awesome. Guys, last week there was 4 people who accepted Christ last week because of our efforts, what God's doing with that. Y'all need to give y'all some praise and give God some awesome praise on that. That's what we're all about. So Jeff actually, when he came to him afterwards, he said, you start adding this up. You know, you start adding this up. We've had several people coming to Christ to this, and he was adding this up. I started my eyes. There's been 8, and then this 4, that makes 12. He said, no, there's 13, because what Caitlin. I was like, oh, that's right, Caitlin. And if you don't remember about Caitlin, it was kind of neat about what Caitlin said. She said she got saved and baptized at the same time because she was in the showers when she prayed to receive Christ. So that was pretty wicked awesome. So, that's awesome. I want you to understand this, okay? I've seen more people saved do this work that we're doing than I have my entire ministry, minus when we went to Mexico. Mission field is completely different. We saw over 50 people who said Christ. I've seen this and been a part of it. Have you ever seen anything like this? Ever seen people coming to Christ like this? God's anointing is upon us, and it's awesome. And I want God's anointing to be continued upon us. I want God to be able to continue to speak to you, and I want Him to change your life. I want Him to transform you and make you brand new. I want these marriages to be rekindled. I want these lifestyles to just be totally dedicated to Him. But if we want God to move and work in our lives, we got to get rid of these cows. That's what last week was all about tip on these cows. Get rid of whatever it is that's preventing you from getting close to God. Today we're going to talk about another cow. And this cow is something I do not want to talk about because it's not fun. Last week was fun. Did y'all see me dance around the cow?
Where'd you learn them dance moves at?
I got that from Malachi. He showed me the step before I did that. There's this one cow. Does anybody know what this cow is? Could you tell me about the worship songs or maybe even by the video we just saw? Let me know what the cow is. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. I don't want to talk about it. But if we want God to move and work in our lives, if we expect God to be able to move, we have got to be able to move past forgiveness. We got to. Now, again, I said this is something I didn't really want to do because to prepare you for today, you're probably going to relive some hurt inside. You're probably going to relive words that somebody said to you. You're probably going to relive a situation, a dark time in your life. You're going to be reliving this. On the other side of that, could you imagine being free from that? Would you like to be free from those words that have been said to you, from that hurt, from that person who every time you see them, it just like, you know, your heart starts pumping, you can't breathe. You just try to avoid it altogether. To be free from that. See, I'm not speaking anything new that I've not gone through myself. I just got through going through this. And this is before we went to the high school last week. I just went through this. Because somebody had hurt me. Me. And I did everything that we always do. I avoided. Didn't make any contact. Anytime I was going anywhere near them, I drove as far as I could and I would hide. And you know what I would do? I would pretend like I was talking on my cell phone so I wouldn't even have to look that way. Y'all did the same thing. Hang on. Could you imagine being free from that? Because if you're like me, here's what you want to do. You want to hold on to that grudge because you've got every right in the world to be upset at them. They hurt you. They should not have done that. But I want you to hear this, okay? I want you to hear this. Here's what Jesus had to say about forgiveness. It's going to be right on the screen because this is not the text we're going to go to, but I want you to see this. This is Matthew chapter 5. I encourage you to write this down, okay? Write this down. It's Matthew chapter 5, verses 23 through 26. I encourage you to write this down because you're going to need to go back to this. Because today, it's not something I'm going to be able just to cover in just, 30, 45 minutes and be done with it. So, Matthew chapter 5, verse 23 through 26. Now here's what Jesus had to say about forgiveness, okay? He said, "So, if you are offering a gift on the altar, and there you remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go and be reconciled with your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Reach a settlement quickly with your adversary while you're on the way with him, or your adversary will hand you over to the judge to the officer, and you'll be thrown into prison. I assure you, you will never get out of there until you have paid the last penny." Yeah, I'm going to sum this up. Jesus is asking us to forgive people. See, what I try to do is I try to cover up that with good stuff. Like, I'll be mad at that person. And to make up for it, I'll be nicer to a whole bunch. Is nicer a word? I'll be more nice. I'll be nicer to everybody else to cover up for that. Like, I know that I got this little dark area in my life. I keep pointing at Garrett. I'm not upset at you, buddy. So, we got this person here that we're upset with. They've hurt us and we've hurt them, and it's just a bad situation. What we'll do is we'll ignore Garrett. We'll ignore that situation, and we'll just make it up over here. I'm going to buy flowers for my wife. Or I'm going to spend time with my kids tonight. Or I'm going to help this stranger down here. And we'll try to make up for it. But here's what Jesus said. Now, this is not anybody else's word. This is Jesus. God in the flesh. Jesus said, guys, if you're going to church, you're going to present your offerings, your sacrifice to God, but you've got something against somebody else, or they've got something against you, leave it. I don't even want it. That's what it said. I don't even want it. After church, we've got this little offering jar that you put into. And the way that we do that is so that it's just completely between you and God. Completely between you and God. But what he's saying is, I don't want your money in that jug until you go fix that. Go get that taken care of. He's pretty serious about it. Because he says, if you don't, do you see what he's going to do? He said, if you don't, you are going to be what? He said, if you don't reach the settlement, your adversary, he's going to lead you away, he's going to hand you over to the judge to the officer, then you're going to end up in jail. But listen to this, guys. He said, I assure you, you will never get out of there until you pay the last penny. What he's saying is, guys, we cannot get around this. There's no way around it. He is very serious about this. Very serious. Look at this other scripture. Write this down. Write this down. Matthew chapter 6, verse 14 and 15. Matthew chapter 6, verse 14 to 15. Write this down. That's what he says. He says, for if you forgive people their wrongdoing, your heavenly Father will forgive you as well. But if you don't forgive people, your Father will not forgive your wrongdoing. Wow. I don't like that because I can justify mine. I can justify them so good. Whether it be with my spouse, we justify it. Or whether it be with a neighbor, a friend, a coworker, we can justify being angry with them. We can justify it. Oh, because they hurt us. They did something wrong. What we say here is that if we are not willing to forgive them, then God is not willing to forgive us. You. It's pretty serious, isn't it? We just sang that Amazing Grace. As we just sang, my chains are gone. Because He's forgiven us. Okay. So here's where it gets good. I forgive somebody. And then they hurt me again. And then I'm like, okay, I'm done. Have you ever said that? I'm done. I've done it. I forgive them. I tried. I'm done. I'm done. Look at this next verse. Look at this next verse. This is Matthew chapter 18. Write this down. Matthew chapter 18, verse 21 20. God, I know we don't throw so much scripture about you, but this is on a heavy topic about forgiveness, so that's why I want you to write this down. Matthew chapter 18, verse 21 and 22. Check this out. Then Peter, we just saw a little skit about Peter. Then Peter came to Jesus, came to him and said, Lord, how many times could my brother sin against me and I forgive him? As many as 7 times? I'm not even getting to 7 times in my life. I'm doing 1 time. 1 time. As many as 7 times? And he says, I tell you, not as many as 7. Jesus said to him, but 70 times 7. Now wait a minute. Peter's saying, okay, God, is 7 times enough time to forgive somebody? Is 7 times? Because in the Bible, that's the number of completion. 7 times means a lot. 7 times. Is 7 times enough? And Jesus says, dude, 70 times 7. Does anybody know what 70 times 7 is?
490.
I'm doing 1. So many chances I can forgive 1. I forgive this 1 time, but after that, I'm done. But according to His Word, keeps on going. That doesn't mean that you have to keep track and say, okay, 490 times, I'm going to forgive my wife 490 times. On 490, I'm done. That's it. Maybe it's up to 123. I'm just kidding. I love my wife. It's not so we can keep track of that. What are you telling you? As so much of you've been forgiven, you forgive others. I don't know about you, but I have sinned against God a lot. I've done it this week. I don't know how many times I've had to ask for forgiveness. I've had a crazy week. I've lost my temper. I've got aggravated. Been on the phone. And you know what I did? I lost it. I just lost it. And it should have been over anything big deal. But I lost it. You know, it's just one problem after another, and then I just got frazzled, and I didn't know what to do. And it's just like I was there, and I was on the phone. I couldn't do anything. I was listening to this person complain to me. What am I going to do? And so I did the only thing that my body knew to do, and I punched my keyboard. That's what I did. I felt it a lot. I was in there by myself. The guy that I work with came in and he said, so, what's the matter? I'm like, what do you mean? He said, there's blood all over your phone. And I went, what? And it was on the phone. He said, you hit something, didn't you? No. He knew. I struggle with this stuff just like you do. People, they hurt me. And people, they hurt you. And I've got situations that's happened way back when. And those situations, they still hurt me. I want to move past those. I want to experience the fullness and the power of God. Do you guys? Do you want to experience the fullness and the power of God? Because it's like, here's what we're doing. We're saying, okay, God, I'm ready to go with you. But I'm holding on to this back here. See, we can't fully go with God when we're holding on to this back here. You gotta let go. I told you this wasn't going to be easy. So here's my question. And this is what's going to set the stage for everything else. Here's my question. Before I do that, I want you to read just one scripture. Listen to this. This is verse 35. We're talking about this Matthew chapter 18. This is verse 35. He says, this is Jesus' response to all this. He says, so my heavenly Father will also do to you if each of you does not forgive his brother from his heart. Sounds like he's pretty serious about forgiveness, doesn't he? Boy, yeah, I don't want to be. I would assume punch some people as look at them, wouldn't you? I'm serious. I really would. There's some people, I would really like to tell them how I feel. And I can tell from the looks in y'all's face, you all are right there with me. Now I know they're not alone. Look at this. Jesus is serious about forgiveness. That's the first thing I want you to understand about this today. He is serious. It's not something to play around with. It's not something to toy around with. Jesus is serious about forgiveness. He is serious. I mean, serious. Wow. So he's so serious about forgiveness. So my question is, how? How in the world can you forgive somebody who's hurt you? How in the world can you forgive somebody who has just, these words that just, they hit you so hard, it was like knives that is jabbed inside of you. And every time your mind recollects that, it's like those knives are still planted in there. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yes. Hurts, don't it? It hurts. Because it doesn't matter how many times, it's like those knives, they can't get pulled out. They just can't. And it's there and you're reliving this over and over. And many of you, I can see it in your faces, you're reliving it right now. Me too. When Jesus was betrayed, he had some men in his inner circle. Y'all remember who those were? Jesus' 3 men in his inner circle? There were 3 guys. Peter, James, and John. There was this one guy, though, who he was the big mouthpiece, right? He was the one that, no, I'm not going to do this. We're not going to have Jesus. You are not going to go down the cross. I don't care what you say. He said, I will die before I let this happen. It's Peter. Peter was the man. Jesus told Judas, he said, Judas, what you do, go do it quickly. So Judas went to go betray Jesus, and then these 3 men went to the inner circle. Jesus took them to go pray deep into the Garden of Gethsemane. Wow, I was getting really mixed up there. So, Garden of Gethsemane. Went to go pray. Before that night ended, Jesus told Peter, he said, Peter, you are going to deny that you even know me. And he said, not me. I'm not going to do that. And he says, Peter, y'all know this, right? Before the cock crows twice, you'll have to deny me thrice. And then we saw the video. It's like, I didn't know about that whole cock crowing thing, but Jesus was taken away, went to trial. Peter followed right behind, and he was there, and he was warming himself up by the fire. Warming himself up by the fire. And then these people came to him and said, You're that dude. You're Peter. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're the one who followed Jesus. And he said, I've never seen this man before in my life. He keeps on going. The next thing you know, you hear the He doesn't. He doesn't. And if he remembers, and he's gone. Do you know that if you read Scripture, you don't hear anything else about Peter? Not until Easter morning. You don't hear a single word about Peter. How would you feel if you were in Peter's shoes? I mean, here's the Son of God, right? I mean, this is Jesus, and you're denying that you know Jesus, and you even cuss and say, I don't know, man. Jesus is betrayed, he's beaten, and he's hung on a cross, and he's laid to the tomb. He dies. Then that next morning, Peter goes, and they find out that, hey, he's really not here. He has really, really risen. He's really risen. How would you feel like if you was Peter? If you're Peter, how do you live with yourself? Right? How in the world? Could you forgive that? You're Jesus now. How could you forgive Peter for doing that? Could you? That'd be really hard, right? Well, there's something that, well, let's read the scripture. This is John chapter 20. John chapter 20. This is verse 3. At that, Peter and the other disciple, talking about John, they headed for the tomb. And when the two that were running together, but the other disciple outran Peter and got to the tomb first. Stooping down, he saw the linen cloths lying there, yet he did not go in. Then following him, Simon Peter came also, and he entered the tomb and he saw the clothes lying there. What do you think Peter's thinking about on his way running to the tomb? He's running. Everything he's got. He's running, and he's hitting that tomb. And when he gets to the tomb, he finds out, John's already there. The tomb is empty. All there is some of his grave clothes are laying there. That's all that's laying there. But you're on your way, you're running there. What are you thinking? Let me ask you this. Has anybody ever had to run to the hospital maybe as somebody who was ready to die? Or maybe you found out that a son or daughter in a car wreck, or you've heard something bad, and you've got to get somewhere quick. You've had some of this news, and you've got to get somewhere quick. Y'all ever had that? An emergency like that happen? What's running through your mind? What are you going to say? What are you going to buy? Man, what's going to happen? Especially when somebody's on their deathbed, you're thinking, what am I going to do? I got to pay. You start thinking, all these things are racing through your mind. What do you think is racing through Peter's mind? What do you think is racing through his mind? Forgiveness. What? Let's say he does come up to Jesus. What would you say? What would you say to Jesus, the Son of God, who you betrayed? What could you say? Please. And then let's say you're Jesus. What would you say? Guys, I'm telling you, this is tough stuff. Because in my mind, even as I'm telling you this stuff, there's things popping in my mind that I need to forgive people. This is running through his mind. This is the most important step. Because Peter's running, his stuff's running. I don't know what's running through his mind, but I just know stuff's running through his mind. And I want you to get this, because this is the most important part. If you don't do this step, you can't do anything else. Okay? This first step. You have got to forgive yourself. You've got to. This is the most important part. You have got to forgive yourself. Because if you are unwilling to forgive yourself, how in the world can Jesus forgive you? You've got to forgive yourself. You've got to forgive yourself of what you said last week. You have got to forgive yourself of what you did in high school. You have got to forgive yourself of what you've done. Whatever that is, you have got to forgive yourself. Because you've got this Heavenly Father that's up here that's saying, you know what? I forgive you. But if you can't forgive yourself, you're saying that God's forgiveness is not good enough. Do you ever think about it that way? That if you're not willing to move past this, you're saying, God, you're not good enough. Your forgiveness is not good enough. I need more. I need more. You've got to forgive yourself. Peter obviously is forgiving himself because he is running to the tomb. Now, I don't know how John outran him. Maybe because he's got a lot of things on his mind. Or John could be really fast. He beats him to the tomb. You got these things going through his mind. I can't imagine what Peter being like. Well, let me ask you, how would you like to be known as the rooster guy? Oh, you're the rooster dude. You're the one who denied Jesus. And live with this for the rest of his life. Yeah, that was me. It's recorded in 3 chapters, in 3 books of the Bible. Live with that for the rest of your life. Hey, go up somewhere, you're going to speak at a church, and your church members, and John's introducing you, hey, have you met Peter? This is Peter. Oh, you're the rooster guy. And reliving this every day. See, that's not in Scripture, but you know that happened because we do that with people right now, right? We think of Donald Trump, what do you think of? Money. When you think of Hugh Hefner, what do you think of? Playboy. We think of these things. You get associated with that, right? You get tagged with it. But you're not that person. Peter is not that rooster crow guy. You know what Peter is? Peter's forgiven. He's forgiven. So I said, you've got to forgive yourself. So if you look at that video that we just saw, you know, there's Peter, and he's talking about them being on the shoreline and catching this fish, and they go up to the shoreline, and Jesus is there, and they have this moment together. Look, this is John chapter 21. Here, I do want you to turn your Bibles here, okay? John chapter 21. Because this right here is key. John chapter 21. Because of what he says here, it's pretty remarkable. This conversation that takes place. Jesus has already been risen from the dead. He started showing himself to different people. He is risen from the dead. The tomb thing is already taken care of. That's already been done. The stones have been rolled away. He showed himself to various people. And in John chapter 21, it starts out with this conversation, and they had this idea that Peter comes up to the guys and he says, guys, I'm going fishing. And in our neck of the woods, it would be people saying, hey, I'm going hunting. They're all saying, hey, I'm going with you. So there's this idea that they're going fishing. And these are professional fishermen, okay? 4 of the 11 disciples at this time are professional fishermen. And they come up together and says, we're going fishing. So they go, and like that video, they don't catch anything at all. And Jesus from the shoreline, he yelled out and said, hey guys, cast nets over to the other side. And when they do, they catch a multitude of fish. Peter realizes that it's Jesus. He takes his clothes up, he jumps in the water, and he swims to the shore. Jesus feeds them. And after they eat, here's the conversation. John chapter 21, verse 15. When they had eaten breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Lord, he said to him. You know that I love you. Feed my lambs, he told him. Verse 16, a second time he asked him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Yes, Lord, he said to him, you know that I love you. Shepherd my sheep, he told him. Verse 17, he asked me the third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was grieved that he had asked him a third time, do you love me? He said, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. Feed my sheep, Jesus said. Feed my sheep. Not one time did Jesus tell him to say, Peter, you know what you did to me? Well, I thought you had my back. What happened to you? You needed your diamond? He never once mentioned anything. He never once mentioned the rooster. He never once mentioned him betraying. He never mentions it. So here's the second thing I want you to understand about this. That if we're going to move past this, if we're going to tip over this towel of forgiveness, we have got to extend forgiveness. We got to extend forgiveness. Just like Jesus did. Y'all remember the bracelets that everybody used to wear? WWJD. What does that mean? And in this situation, what would Jesus do? He'd forgive. Now, if you're like me, I argue with God. What do you guys forgive? I argue. But God, you don't understand what they've done to me. God, you don't understand what I've been through. I've been right through the cross. I've been stoned. It's been ugly. You don't understand, God. And then He brings me to this person. I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm giving people the gift of eternal life. I'm giving them the gift of freedom. And yet they curse my name and pretend that I don't even exist. What do you mean I don't understand? What do you mean I don't understand? I know what it's like to give all you've got to something and not get anything in return. I know what that's like. But God, this person really, really hurt me. They said things to me that was not nice, and it not only wasn't nice, I'm still carrying it with me. I'm still carrying it with me. And He reminds me, they beat and broke my son. And they cursed my name. I know what you're going through. I know what you're going through. And He says, extend forgiveness. And I do this to God. I don't want to. Your kids ever do that? It's funny when adults do it. Because sometimes we do that. I don't want to. I'm picturing the girls because they say that all the time. I don't want to. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Because the outcome is you're going to get a whipping. Yes, sir. I'll go do it right now. And then they're like, well, if God would tell us that, hey, if you don't forgive them, I'm going to whip you, we'd probably be like, okay, yeah, let's go do it. This is where the grace comes in. See, God has given you this opportunity of grace that you can extend forgiveness at your leisure, at your time. You can do that. I don't like that. You? I don't. Because I don't want to forgive that person. I don't want to forgive that situation. I don't want to forgive that. And I hold it right here. And I guard it. When that situation comes up and something like that reminds me of it, it's like PJ 2.0 comes out, and it's like, man, I don't like that part of it. Do you all like that part of you that brings out the ugliness in you, that brings out this whole other side of you? See, I've never seen that side of you. I've seen the pretty side of you. I've seen the side that looks good and it's nice and it's courage. I don't want to see the ugly side. It will come out. It will. It's going to come out one way or the other. And he's saying, guys, I want you to extend this forgiveness. And you're like me, you're like, how can I forgive this somebody? How can I do this? I'm going to give you just a couple examples. And here's something that, it's not put on the screen. I just want to talk to you about this because when it comes to extending forgiveness, there's 1,000 different ways to do it. But before you can extend forgiveness, you've got to forgive yourself. Okay? You've got to do that. Now sometimes it's easy to do with the confrontation. We go up to somebody and we just tell them point blank, you hurt me. You did. You hurt me. I felt like while you were doing this, or while you said this, here's the way I took it, and maybe I took it wrong. And I found that to be the case a lot of times. The way somebody said something. Y'all have heard this all the time, and I know that we say it too. It's not how you say it, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I even messed that part of it up. We do it all the time because it's our tone and it's our anger. And guys, you all can relate with this. We have one-track minds. I can either watch TV or I can talk. I cannot do both. I don't hear it. When we're driving down the road, the radio is on, and I could be tuned into that radio. I have no idea that the girls are hollering at my name. I don't even hear them. And May will be like, "Babe, they're talking to you." Like, I didn't hear them. What did they say? And it's not that I have a hearing problem. It's that I don't hear. I'm hearing, it's like I'm in the zone, baby, and I'm hearing this one thing. And so I'm singing loud as I can, inside voice, and I don't hear anything else. I don't hear anything that's this one-track mind. But to somebody else, they can take it as you're boring, or you're not interested in what I'm doing, or you don't care about me. It's not that. It's that I'm in the zone. I'm in the zone. I have to, if it's going to be a conversation, usually I have to end up turning the TV off. Because if it's still on, you know what happens to my eyes, my ears, my mind? It gravitates. And that's wait a minute, she's talking. What? What'd you say? I did. But people get offended at these things. And it's not that you're angry or upset, but sometimes we can take that stuff the wrong way. And sometimes what we need to do is just to be nice and blunt about, hey, you're not listening to me. Or instead of saying you, I feel like you're not listening to me. And sometimes that needs a confrontation. Here's something that took me a long time to understand. It doesn't always take a confrontation to extend forgiveness. It don't. Because some of you right now, you're already getting tensed up and you're thinking, man, I'm going to go talk to that person. And you're like this, I can't. Not that you do it. I can't. It's going to be bad. It's going to blow. I can't. Did you know that you can extend forgiveness without confrontation? Did you know that? It took me years to learn that. You most definitely can. But what you've got to do is that first step. You've got to forgive yourself before you can extend that forgiveness. You've got to do that. So how can you forgive without? How can you forgive somebody without actually confronting them? You forgive them. One way of doing it is to actually write down a letter. Writing it out. Your forgiveness to them. They're not asking you for forgiveness. Alright? You're extending forgiveness. There's a difference. For some people, they will not ask for forgiveness. They're never wrong. Y'all know those people? They're never wrong. Maybe some of you are married to some of those. You know, maybe they're in your family. They're never wrong. I know plenty of those people who are never wrong. They are not going about to ask for forgiveness. Because they're right. So you can extend that forgiveness. And you know, because even if you try to do that in person, all it's going to do is make it worse. That's all it's going to do is make it worse. But you can extend forgiveness without ever saying a word. You don't have to mention that situation. See, Jesus here, taking his example, he didn't say, Peter, you really screwed up here. Okay? You denied me, the rooster crowed. He didn't say anything about that. He didn't say anything about that. So to forgive, we let go. you know what, I'm not going to let this control over me. I'm not going to let this ruin me. I'm not going to let this ruin my life. I've got to move past this. Now for me, in my situation, what I had to do, I had to confront that person. But I never mentioned the situation. I never mentioned anything about that. In my heart, I forgave them, or in my mind, I forgave them, but in my heart, I had not. And so, what I did, we was in the vicinity. Went by, talked, shared, never said a word about that situation, never said a word about forgiveness, never said a word about any of that situation that hurt me. And that forgiveness went, guys, I'm going to tell you, it was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulder. I felt redeemed. I felt rejuvenated. I could have run a 100-mile running course. That's what I felt like. I felt so free. I felt like this baggage weight had been just let off of me. And I didn't even say a word about the situation. I didn't even tell that person, you know what? I forgive you. I just said in my heart. Can't even believe that's what Jesus did. He kind of restored him and he said, Peter, do you love me? He said, yes, Lord, I love you. Do you love me? Yes, Lord, I love you. Peter, do you love me? You know I love you. Jesus extended forgiveness and he never mixed the situation. Guys, it's tough. I know it's tough. But if we can do this, we can do something awesome and great with our lives. Here's this last thing, because this is the hardest one. Another way for you to forgive them, get these people, is stop trying to get people on your side. Stop. That's hard. Because I want somebody that's got my back, and I will say, can you believe what so-and-so done? They done this, and they done this, and they done this. Or we'll go find somebody at work and we'll say, but he never mops the floors, and he never washes the dishes, and he never irons his own clothes, and he never does this. And we'll get somebody to have her back over here and we'll say, well, you just need to find somebody else. That's exactly what I need to do. And we'll find somebody that's got her back, and we'll just keep reliving this over and over and over and over and over. Stop trying to get somebody to take your side. That's one way to extend forgiveness. So when that situation comes up, you know what you do? Very hard to do. Because when we have an opportunity to rag on somebody, our tendency is to do it. To do it. Last thing. Pray for them. That's one that I don't like. I can't remember what happened. It's been a couple of years ago. And Amanda said, you need to pray about it. But I said, I don't want to. I don't want to pray. I didn't remember what happened. I just remember saying that. And Amanda's looking at me like, you're a preacher. You don't want to pray about it? No, I don't want to. Praying for that person is a great way to move them past. Extend forgiveness. Pray for that person. So I told you a couple things you can do. You can write it out. Write out your forgiveness. Stop talking about it. You know, whenever that situation that comes up where you can just start talking about it to somebody, don't. Tell you, I'm done with that. I've forgiven it. It's done. It's over. I'm moving on. You don't have to vocalize that to somebody. I'm talking about things that's in your head. I'm done. I said that earlier that you're done. Not that you're done with that person. You're done reliving that situation. Write it out. Pray for them. Again, that's the stuff that's really hard. But there's another one that's really hard. See, right now what we're talking about people who have offended us. Right? People who have hurt you. People who have said things to you. I want to turn the tables on you right now. Because this will make sense. And here's the third thing I want you guys today. Do you need to ask for forgiveness from someone? See, are you on the other side of it? Do you have something in your life that you know that you need to ask somebody for forgiveness for? Maybe you ran over their dog. Maybe you said something that you shouldn't have said. Maybe the way you said something made them think that maybe they were too fat, or maybe they were too skinny, or maybe they had too gray hairs, or maybe that they were being... Do you need to ask somebody for forgiveness? Because guys, that's hard. Because what you're saying is, I was wrong. I don't know about you, but that's extremely hard to do. Because I like to be right. Right? Right? I mean, y'all like to be right. Amanda gives me a hard time when I have to say that, you know, that I know you was right. And I do the same thing with her, you know. What'd you say? I was wrong. What? I was wrong. What'd you say, Patrick? I'm not saying it again. So, you gotta rub that in there real good. You need to ask for forgiveness for somebody. Because maybe you're on the other side of it. Maybe you're the one who, whenever you get to work, you're already riled up. And they drop something and you're like, what are you doing? And you just go off. I've had to ask for forgiveness for my kids, for my behavior. That sent me to my lowest low that I've ever been. It's when I had to ask for forgiveness for my kids. And it hurts so bad because of what they did afterwards. Because I handled the situation wrong and I went to them and I apologized. And you know what they did? They loved me. They wrapped their arms around me and I was bawling and they were just rubbing my hand. Dad, it's okay. Love you. Kids know how to forgive. But adults, we kind of hang on to it. Is there something in your life that you need to ask for forgiveness for? Peter, we don't see him in Scripture that he ever asked for it. I guarantee you he asked for it. It wasn't necessary. But Peter moved on. This situation was the catalyst that drove Peter to the next level in his life. Now here, guys, I know this has all been rough stuff. We're leaving in situations, this is all rough stuff. Because there's a better end, okay? You're asking for forgiveness or things you might need to be asking for forgiveness to. There is a better end. There is a better end. Before I get to your better end, some of you guys are already, I can see the looks on your faces like, nah, I can't do it. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. There's this video guy that I want to show you. And he is a UFC fighter. Young UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Champion. He's a UFC fighter. Tough guy. His name is Victor Belfort. And he's got like this awesome testimony about how he got forgiveness. He got forgiveness. And as you watch this video, I want you to put yourself in that situation. But could you imagine being some of these people in the Bible? Could you imagine being Jesus? Do y'all remember what Jesus said while he hung on the cross? One of his last words? You guys know. Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. And he's hanging on the cross. And y'all seen though these images of Passion of Christ. He's extending this forgiveness. Somebody pulls out in front of me and I'm ready to run them down. Right? It happened to me yesterday. Why in the world does somebody get in front of you just so they can pull off? Does that make any sense? And here I am driving like, where'd you get your driver's license? Lucky Charms? Does that make any sense whatsoever? That makes me frustrated. There's this other guy, Stephen, in the Bible. People were really cool in the Bible. People say they're cool now. They were really cool in the Bible. They took Stephen. He was this man. He was full of God. He was full of faith. They took him outside the city. And they took rocks, okay? We took dirt bombs. They took rocks. And they started hurling them at him to kill him. And he was starting to get out of it. He was about to die. And he looked up, and this is what he said. He said, Father, lay not this sin to their charge. Stephen was extending forgiveness while people were throwing rocks at him. What about that makes sense? Nothing. Because it goes everything against culture tells us today. We need to have a grudge against somebody and live it out. Tough it out. And that's what this Victor Belfort, this video I'm going to show you, that's what he is going to explain. And how he received forgiveness was able to move past it. So check out this video.
I think there's two ways to get to God, through pain or through love. Mine was through pain. What I do for a living is one of the toughest sport in the business, UFC. All the intensity and facing all the fears and the battles is just so intense. For sure they have people they are against. Oh, this is so violent. A lot of people say, man, how you can serve God and you're there, you're punching and you're kicking someone. Hey, what about American football, hockey? Everybody's a fighter. I remember my first time I was fighting for a championship. I was 19 years old. I wrote a note. I said, God, if I won this championship, I'm gonna serve you forever. But he knew I would be not a follower right after. And that's what's happened. As soon as I won that championship, I didn't follow God right away. I was 20 years old and I had an injury on the neck. All the doctors said, you know, Victor, you need surgery in your neck. And if you do surgery, no more fighting for you. You need to find another job. And I was crying and I was desperate. One day, I was driving a nice car with just an injury on my neck. I opened the window. On that moment, a guy who was in a skate with no legs, he was saying, Victor, you know, many people that drive by here, they think I'm worthless because I don't have a pair of legs. But I can guarantee you, Victor, I'm more happy than many people that drive big cars, they drive by here. I got Jesus, and Jesus can transform your life. So that day is the first time I hear God's talking to my heart. But even with that, I didn't follow God. In 2004, my sister got kidnapped in Brazil. She disappeared. My mom dropped her in her work. We never saw her again. We have words like, if you lost your husband, you're a widow. If you lost your parent, you're orphan. But if you lost your child, they don't have name for that. That's so painful. How painful it is you don't have name for that. They never found her. We never found her body, but we hear a story that they raped her in the slam. Like more than 20 guys raped her and killed her. My heart was getting hard and started getting bitter. Everything that I see, I want just revenge. And I was hurt and I want a solution for my pain. I want medicine. I start praying. I start strong fire with God, and He spoke to my heart, saying, son, it doesn't matter how you look and how you think in your life. Your sisters belong to me. That I think was my biggest touch with the true relationship with Jesus and the Holy Spirit. Now I have a great family, great relationship with God. My heart is so peaceful, you know, and then back to the UFC, it's just amazing how it was. And now I understand the platforms don't belong to me, belong to God. I can see now that through that tribulation, I'm a new man, I'm a strong man, I'm mature. I'm not perfect, I still struggle with many things. I'm in the middle of the process. And every day, I try to improve myself so I can fight through that process. And that process never ends. Be a true fighter. It's just like you in the fire. Don't worry, you're gonna lose, you're gonna win, you're gonna lose, you're gonna win. The gold has to go to the fire to purify the gold. But the main thing is be an overcomer. You always have to overcome something. Então, para Jesus entrar na sua vida, você tem que abrir a porta do seu coração. Senão ele nunca vai entrar. No regrets. You will love the ride. It's amazing. My name is Vitor Belfort, and I am second.
Take your Bibles and turn to Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. We're talking about heavy topic. Talking about tipping over this cow for this forgiveness. And in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, There's some pretty amazing words that you hear here. I don't know about your situation. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what hurt lies inside of you. But I do know this verse. And I know what it says. And I don't care what type of translation we got. We probably got King James and NIV, and we probably got a bunch of ones, but it all says the same thing. This is it in NIV. He says, "Come unto me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you." Can I say that last word with me? I will give you rest. Rest. He says, I will give you rest. Guys, you all ready to move past this moment in your life? Whatever it is, this cloud of darkness, this weight of sin, this weight of ugliness. Are you ready to get the ugliness out so you can experience the fullness and the power of God? He had a good reason for being angry, didn't he? Somebody kidnapped his sister, raping her until she died. And he was holding all that in. When he finally opened up it all, he said, "Jesus, take it all." He was freed. Freed. And I've got this hurt in my life. And it burdens me down. And every time I see that person, I'm reliving it. And every time I think about that situation, I'm reliving it. I get freed. Because it says in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. Come. You're burdened, you're weary. Come. I will give you rest. I'm ready for some rest. I'm ready to experience the power and the fullness of God. Because here's where it gets good, okay? We said all this stuff to this right here. Peter, he messed up, right? He messed up. But then after he messed up, Jesus restored him up and forgave him. He forgave himself. Peter stood and preached to thousands of people. People they could hear. It was a great miracle. But that day, get this, that day, 3,000 people came to know Christ. 3,000 people were able to be saved from the very pits of hell, all because of one man received forgiveness. Got rest, and his burdens laid down. Guys, what can God do for you in your homes, your lives, at work? What can He do through us, through Uplift Church, if we can move past this and extend forgiveness? What can God do if we would lay all these burdens, if we could lay them all down, we could actually get some rest and some freedom? I don't know about you. I'm tired of carrying all this junk around. I soon get to the one who can do something about it. How about it, guys? Are y'all ready? Are you all ready to receive this awesome power of God and extend this forgiveness? Are you tired of carrying around the burden? Are you ready for some rest? Are you ready to move past to the next stage of what God's got in store for you? It's been a good ride. It's been an awesome ride. But guys, all we've done, we've waited in line at the roller coaster. We've waited in line, okay? We're sitting in, and we're about to be buckled in. God is getting ready to take you on the ride of your life. Just like a roller coaster, you've got to get all in and fastened in. And I'm asking, are you ready for the ride of your life? Because God's about to do something through us that people are not going to be able to believe. It's going to be that great a miracle. Yes, we've got to let go. We've got to let go. It's not easy. It hurts. I know it's tough. This is not something that you can just turn over the magic card. It's going to be over. Because those words are tough. Those people are real. You're still going to see it. But God says, we can forgive. Let's actually bow your head and close your eyes for a moment. Father God, no idea how the Lord you can forgive us in the shape that we're in. The lives that we live. The closer I get to you, God, the closer I realize in my life that I am an absolute mess. The things that I've done, the things that I think. And somehow, God, you extend your grace and mercy to me. And you forgive me. Thank you, God, for being so awesome. God, we talk about this heavy topic about forgiveness. And we're relieving those hurts right now. God, we need your grace. We need your help. As you continue to pray, I believe that every one of us has got something that we need to move past in order to experience the fullness of God. It's not something you can just turn over. It's not something you can do happen by magic. It's going to take you making very effort and consciously to do that. I'm asking you this morning, are you ready? Are you ready to forgive? Are you ready to move past? Are you ready? God's got something awesome in store for you. Are you ready? Then I'm going to ask you to pray that prayer. Matthew 11:28. Call out to God right now and say, Lord Jesus, I am weary. I am burdened. I need your rest. Help me, God, to extend forgiveness. And help me, God, to forgive myself. Thank you, God, for forgiving me. Now may I forgive others. Lord Jesus, I'm going to pray for everybody who just prayed that prayer right now, because I know that we've got not an easy road ahead of us. But we are going to make a challenge, God. That whenever the situation arises, we're not going to talk about that person. We're going to ignore it. We're not going to go up into that person. We're not going to relive or rehash out all those past hurts and all those past fights. We're going to extend forgiveness. God, I pray that you would extend your love, mercy, and grace and strength, God, to your people, that we might be able to forgive those who have so desperately hurt us. God, I want to thank you so much for the life that you've given us. Thank you for a new life. Thank you for your word this morning, God. And I believe, just like Peter, I believe you're going to do a great work in all of us. So may we continue to lay our burdens down at your feet. God, thank you for your word this morning. May we continue to let it speak in our lives. In Jesus' name.